Hello, Daddy. What have I done? I'm Milton, your brand new son.
Hello, I'm Jay Stevens, and I'd like to share another Gold Key secret with you. This time, I'm going to shed some light on Milton the Monster, a Gold Key one-hit wonder, and his creator, Hal Seager. The journey to the creation of cartoon's friendliest monster is fascinating. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1919, the ambitious, creatively restless, and very charming Hal Seager's youthful interest in cartooning led him to enroll at the New York Illustration Studios in the famous Flatiron Building at age 16. One of his classmates was the future co-creator of Batman, Bob Kane, which likely had some influence on Hal's creation of Batfink. More on that later. Seeger charmed his way into working as an animator for the streetwise cartoon producers Fleischer Studios during this time. Home of Betty Boop, Coco the Clown, and others, the Fleischer brothers were the edgy, urban, and slightly sleazy alternative to the wholesome Kansas City Disney stuff.
But you never find another sweet man like me.
Seeger soon found himself helping out writing for the Betty Boop and Popeye newspaper comic strips, and in 1938, when the studios made the move from New York to Florida, 19-year-old Hal tagged along, contributing to their full-color, feature-quality animation of that period on cartoons like Mr. Bug Goes to Town. As World War II raged on, Hal Seager joined the United States Army Signal Corps Army Pictorial Service, and with all his previous experience, was made a senior motion picture writer for animated Army training films. It wasn't long before Hal was producer and running the department. His talented staff included such future household names as Stan Lee, Dr. Seuss, and his friend Charles Addams, who was already as gothic and macabre as you might imagine for the creator of the Addams Family. Surely some seed of Milton the Monster is planted with this friendship. Hal Seager also worked as a screenwriter for a series of movies in the late 1940s for all-American entertainment made for black audiences and featuring famous black performers of the time like Nat King Cole, Dusty Fletcher, and Butterfly McQueen. These included the 1947 Cab Calloway musical Heidi Ho, a reunion with one of the biggest stars of the Fleischer cartoons. Hal continued writing for comics, most notably for the DC comic book Leave It to Binky, beginning in 1948, and his own creation, Muggy Doo Boy Cat, in 1953.
Here comes your pal, Muggy Doo.
But by the late 1950s, Hal Seager Productions had opened its doors in New York City, specializing primarily in television commercials. Hal Seager was back in the animation game. A loyal guy, it's been said that anyone who Hal worked for and liked ended up working for him. In 1958, he reunited with Max Fleischer to produce 100 new Out of the Inkwell TV cartoons featuring the first Fleischer Studios animated star, Coco the Clown.
For Coco the Clown, out of the inkwell comes Coco the Clown. He is gay and he is jolly, he will make you laugh, by golly. He gets in every kind of trouble.
These full-color 5-minute cartoons launched in 1962 with an updated look and feel reflecting the minimalism and abstraction of then-current limited animation popularized on TV by the likes of UPA, J. Ward Productions, and Hanna-Barbera. Most fans of the pioneering Fleischer cartoons from the Jazz Age dismiss these out of hand, but despite being a hardcore Fleischer fan, I think these cartoons are fun and beautifully designed. And so, after many creative adventures, Hal Seager finally arrives at his most well-remembered idea in 1965, Milton the Monster.
It's thrilling and chilling and also shock-filling, the Milton the Monster Show. It's daring and scaring, you'll find yourself staring at Milton the Monster Show.
Well, remembered by some, anyway. I first discovered Milton from the 1966 Gold Key comic book I found in a back issue bin, and wasted time as a kid trying to track down more issues before discovering there weren't any. I took even longer to finally lay eyes on the television series, which was a bit before my time and had fallen into relative obscurity. But as you've already guessed, I love it, despite some uncomfortable stereotypes that were typical of the era and make for cringy rewatching now.
You'll quake at the sights that they make on the Milton the Monster Show.
The anthology animated series debuted, appropriately enough, in October of 1965, riding the wave of monster fandom from that era.
On top of Old Horror Hill, in a secret laboratory, Professor Weirdo and Count Kook were in their monstrous glory.
Milton the Monster stars as a Frankenstein creature type with the iconic flat head made famous by Boris Karloff's portrayal of that reanimated corpse. Puffs of smoke blow out of Milton's cranium, though, suggesting his head is more like a chimney stack. What sets Milton apart from other pop monsters of this era is that he's sweet and kind, with a down-home aw-shucks voice based on the popular Gomer Pyle character portrayed by Jim Nabors.
May I take your Hyatt?
No, that's part of her head.
Hey, she's not half bad.
Watch me turn on the charm.
This voice and others, including yet another Peter Lorre impression for Milton's housemate Hebe, were by the wonderful Bob McFadden. If you've never heard his musical comedy album Songs Our Mummy Taught Us, you're missing out. Bob is also the voice of the original Frankenberry, by the way, which bears mentioning. Anyway, the reason Milton is so gentle is that his creator, Professor Weirdo, spilled a little too much tincture of tenderness into his monster recipe and spends most of the time trying to teach Milton to be a better monster. Besides Milton's mad scientist Papa, supporting characters on Horror Hill include the aforementioned skeletal Hebe, the green one-eyed GB, and Count Kook. There's also the rival Professor Fruitcake and his monstrous creation Zelda the Zombie, the Brando-esque biker Fangenstein, Aunt Hagatha, the Shrunken Head. It's fun, creepy stuff, and I suppose people had high hopes in Milton the Monster, as there were board games and coloring books, jigsaw puzzles, and Halloween costumes. Either that or Hal Seager was once again charming his way into some good deals. Fearless Fly was another cartoon in the Milton the Monster anthology series and the only other character to be merchandised and appear in the Gold Key comic book as a backup.
Faster than a streaking rocket. Speedier than a flash of light. It's Fearless Fly!
It's interesting to note that Fearless Fly was originally intended to be the headliner, and his shorts were the first to be made. But the monster-making mad scientist Professor Weirdo, who appeared in a Fearless Fly episode as a villain, proved to be so popular with the network, he and his creepy, cute creation were spun off and put into starring roles instead. Like I said, the mid-60s were monster crazy. Fearless Fly is still pretty fun, though. A Mighty Mouse-esque reversal of the Superman Clark Kent mythos. In this case, when nearly blind bumpkin Hiram puts on his glasses, they transform him into a super housefly. Other segments featured cowboy detective Fluky Luke, bratty Penny Penguin, and a reinvention of a couple of Hal Seager's old comic book characters, Stuffy Derma the Millionaire Hobo and Muggy Doo, now a boy fox for some reason. 3 years on the ABC network schedule and then syndication meant Milton and his pals were still showing in reruns well into the 1970s, Hal Seager's biggest television hit. Seeger tried again with the Batman meets Mighty Mouse parody Batfink in 1966, which feels like a first cousin of the Milton the Monster show in look and content. Batfink is a crime-fighting, metal-winged bat hero with a Kato-like sidekick named Karate and a recurring archenemy named Hugo Agogo. This was apparently pulled together quickly to take advantage of the Batman and Green Hornet live-action show mania that had blown up earlier that same year. But sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Seeger claims he lost around $130,000 on Batfink and decided to end production of cartoon TV series altogether, saying it was getting too expensive and too competitive. Hal Seager never stopped coming up with crazy new ideas, but Milton the Monster was the closest thing he came to charming the world. He's certainly been an inspiration to me. Speaking of that, please check out my new Gold Key comic series, Figgy Furthermore, a brand new old school comic in the classic Gold Key style. Available now.